What is up guys, and welcome back to the channel. This is Dr. Hamis Tech, and today we'll be doing a full comparison video between two very awesome flagship phones. In the first corner we have the flagship Galaxy S22 Ultra and it's up against the flagship killer, the Realme GT 2 Pro. So what we are going to do in today's video is of course go through the key specs and features and of course help you to decide which phone to get by the end of this video. So yes, without further ado, let's just get right into it. So let us start off with the prices on both these two phones, and I'll also include the USD prices as well. So the Galaxy S22 Ultra does start off at about 50.99 ringgit Malaysia, and if you want to get the highest spec model, you can get it for 58.99 ringgit Malaysia. Next up, we have the Realme GT 2 Pro, and here in Malaysia, we only have one variant and it goes for 2,999 ringgit Malaysia. It also does have some sales, which is of course important for many of you guys, and you can get it for about 25.99 ringgit Malaysia. Also, one thing to really consider when buying these two phones is what you can get with the boxes. So with the Galaxy S22 Ultra, as we can see, it's a very small package. This is Samsung's way of saving the earth. And what you can get inside is the manual books, the warranty stuff, and also just a piece of cable. This does mean that you do not get any charger right off the box. So you have to buy one. You can buy the 15 watts, 25 watts, or the new 45 watt charger, which we are going to talk about in a little bit. With the Realme GT 2 Pro, what you can get is a 65 watt charger. You also would get the cable, and lastly, you will also get a phone case, which of course is really good and also really helpful to protect your phone. And of course, this is the basic stuff that you're going to get with the GT 2 Pro. So now let's move forward and we're going to talk about the build and design on both these two phones. So starting with the GT 2 Pro, you have a plastic on the back over here, one thing to consider. But on the front, you do get a very nice Gorilla Glass Victus glass. So yes, it's top of the line when it comes to the premium glass protection over here. In terms of the grip and the weight for it, it's really nice to hold and of course a very nice solid build. But definitely I would want to slap on the case if you do want to get the white color variant, because I don't want it to get any kind of yellowish discoloration on my phone right here. But in terms of just the build material and design, is looking really good. You have your USB-C for your fast charging, your dual SIM card slot as well. You have a stereo speaker setup, which we are going to check out in a little bit. Of course, a nice 6.7-inch display, your volume rockers on one side, and also your power button on the other side as well. So in terms of this, really good on the GT 2 Pro. Of course, we go on to the flagship king right here, and of course, this is a real beast of a phone. And in terms of the build material, over here, we do have a Gorilla Glass Victus Plus on the front and on the back, and also an aluminium frame on the sides as well. In terms of it, you have a curved display over here, and also as you can see, it's very aggressive, but it does give you a nice feel to it when you're holding your phone. But it is kind of squared edges here, so if you want to rest it on your palms or whatsoever, it is a little bit uncomfortable, so it might not be for a lot of people, but of course for me, I've got used to it, so it's not much of an issue. But when it comes to just the build material over here, I think it does have an edge over the GT 2 Pro. If we talk about the design, as you can see, yes, we do have the cameras on one side of the phone, the top left-hand corner. But of course, in terms of design, over here with the S22 Ultra, it is a little bit more unique compared to the GT 2 Pro. It's engraved over here. You have a penta camera setup. Of course, it's really good. But over here, we do have a triple camera setup as well. Very slick, very simple. And I also do like this kind of logo over here. And with the Realme GT series, I always like the design. It's always been very unique. And it does follow here with the GT 2 Pro. So overall, in terms of the build material, I kind of gave it a slight edge to the S22 Ultra for the Victus Plus. But overall, you won't be disappointed on both of these two phones. And also one thing to note is that with the S22 Ultra, you also do have the most important thing over here, which of course is the S Pen. So this is one of the features that is not found on any other Android phone, and this one definitely would help a lot if you guys are into a lot of note taking. Use it for like your Bluetooth to take photos, and there's a lot of stuff that you can actually do with the S Pen, which we can't cover in just one video. If you guys are interested to know what you can do with the S Pen, do drop a comment down below, and of course I will check it out and I'll also do a video on it. But overall, in terms of this, you have your stereo speaker setup as well, you have your USB-C charging, and what I like about this is that the power button and volume rockers is on one side, so you don't have to worry about stretching onto the other side. It's all in one corner, and of course you do have a very clean design here as well. Stereo speaker setup as you would with the GT 2 Pro as well. Alright, so now let's talk about the displays on both of these two phones, and what I can say is that both of these two phones have amazing displays. Of course, with the Samsung device over here, we have a dynamic AMOLED 2 times display, and it does have a 120Hz display, supports your HDR10+, and of course, it can go up to a peak brightness of 1750 nits, which of course is insane. With the Realme GT2 Pro, it also does have a 120Hz panel, it does have an LTPO display, AMOLED, and it does support your HDR10+ as well, and it can go up to 800 nits, and also a peak one about 1400 nits, which of course is also really good. Of course, using these two phones in broad daylight here in Malaysia, it's really nice, and so able to see whatever you need to see with your social media. In terms of the size, here is a 6.7 inch, here's 6.8 inch, and in terms of just the refresh rate, looking really good. But I have to give the edge definitely to the Samsung device. It does look a little bit crispier, the colors do look a little more contrasty and sharper, and of course it's a little bit better compared to the Realme GT2 Pro. But definitely, if you do pick up the GT2 Pro, you won't be disappointed with it. It does have a very good color as well. And if you want to talk about the variable refresh rate, like I mentioned, LTPO display, here you have your dynamic AMOLED, so it's able to switch between 1Hz all the way to 120Hz to save on the battery if you're scrolling through some social media, or if you're not using that phone anyway too much. Alright, and of course, moving forward, both of these two phones have their own separate stereo speakers. Of course, with the Samsung device, it's tuned by AKG. In terms of loudness and in terms of clarity, the bass and all that when it comes to music or watching content, both of them are really good, and of course really loud, so you're not going to be disappointed with any of them. To be honest, I can't really differentiate in terms of the volume between both these two phones, so definitely it's a little bit of a draw over here, but I'll show you some clips over here so you can hear it for yourself.
Wait! I'm here! I'm here! Can you hear me? Just as long as we're all in agreement.
Next, I just want to go through the face and fingerprint unlock on both of these two phones. So when it comes to the fingerprint, this one here, the GT2 Pro, uses an optical scanner, so it works really fast, as we can see right here. And when it comes to the face unlock as well, boom, you're right into your phone, as we can see. And with the Galaxy S22 Ultra, it uses an ultrasonic fingerprint scanner, so it is quite fast for its own series. It's not as fast as the optical scanners, but it does get the job done. Face fingerprint unlock as well, the face unlock does work very fast as well. So in terms of the unlock on both these two phones, really good and also very helpful if you guys are wearing your face mask in your own country where you're from. Alright, so now let's talk about the battery and charging on both these two phones. So both the S22 Ultra and the GT2 Pro do use a 5000 mAh of battery on each of their phones, and when it comes to screen on time, both of them do give you a full day use. But with the S22 Ultra, I feel that it does give me a little bit more juice. I do get about 6 to 7 hours easily screen on time on both these two phones, so it's really good. But if you want to talk about the extra juice, I do feel that with the S22 Ultra, it does slightly edges out over here. It does give me a little bit more extra minutes compared to the GT2 Pro. It's very hard to determine which one would be the best, and I don't think in this department you'll find one better over the other, but definitely when we talk about the charging, that's where the difference will come. When you buy the Galaxy S22 Ultra, you're not given any charger brick right out of the box. You can buy the old 15-watt charger. What I have here is the 25-watt brick, but you can also buy the 45-watt charger from Samsung if you want. To be honest, between the 25 watts and the 45 watts, there's not a massive difference with Samsung over here, which of course is very disappointing. But what I like about Samsung phones, especially when it comes to their flagship phones, is the fact that it does have your wireless charging and also your reverse wireless charging as well. So you can actually charge up your Galaxy Buds Pro, Galaxy Buds 2, your Galaxy Watch as well, or maybe your friend's iPhone. So yes, it's a really good feature to have, and of course, if you're like me and you want to slap on the case, you can actually buy this and buy a ring here, so you can use your MagSafe with your Galaxy S devices as well. But of course, if we just talk about fast wired charging, definitely the Realme GT2 Pro here is the king. Here we have a super dart charger and the 65 watts one over here. So it's able to charge up this phone from 0 all the way to 100% in just about half an hour, which of course is absolutely insane. There's no wireless charging over here, which is a bit of a bummer. But then again, you get a very fast wired charger over here. And of course, the most important part between both of these two phones definitely is the internal specs. So over here in terms of the processor, both of these two phones are using the same Snapdragon 8 Gen 1, and in terms of the RAM, both of them over here I do have the 12 gigs RAM variant and 256 gigs of storage. Both of these two phones, they do not have any micro SD support, which of course is a bit of a bummer because in case you're going to expand it, you can't do it with any of these two phones. Of course, when you talk about the raw performance on both of these two phones, both of them, as you would expect in a flagship device, they are really good, very fast, very snappy, and of course with the variable refresh rate and the 120 Hz, it's really fast and smooth as well. But of course, if you want to talk about just the peak performance, I have done a separate video comparison just to compare the performance on both of these two phones. I will leave a link up above and also down below for you guys to check them out. Next up, let's talk about the software side of things on both these two phones. So with the GT2 Pro, it does come with your Realme UI 3.0, whereas over here, One UI 4.1. And when it comes to just customizations and personalizations, both of them are really amazing. You can change the always on display, you can change the font size, you can do themes on your phone, which of course is a really good thing. And I know you guys have a lot of questions when it comes to this. So yes, definitely sound yourself in the comment section down below. But definitely over here, I have to give the edge to the Galaxy Samsung device because it definitely does have a lot more compared to the GT2 Pro. It does have your Samsung Pay, Samsung Pass, and all these other built-in features in most of the Samsung devices. And of course, if you do get into the Samsung ecosystem, it definitely does fit a little bit better compared to other Android phones. And also one more thing to note is that as we can see with the Realme UI device over here, you do have a RAM Plus feature, which of course is added right into your Samsung S22 Ultra. So it's able to boost that RAM management on both of these two phones. So one more thing to note is that with the S22 Ultra, it does come with an official IP68 rating, so it is dust and water resistant. And with the GT2 Pro, they don't have any IP rating, but it is said to have splash resistance. Last but not least, let us talk about the cameras on both of these two phones. So starting with the selfie shooter over here, on the GT2 Pro, it does come with a 32 megapixel f2.4 shooter, and it can record up to 1080p at 30 fps. With the Galaxy S22 Ultra, it does have your 40 megapixel f2.2 sensor, and it does have your dual autofocus. It does have your dual video call feature and can record up to 4K at 60 fps. So now let's go on to the Galaxy S22 Ultra, and starting with that massive main lens over here, the 108 megapixel f1.8 sensor. It does have your dual autofocus, laser autofocus, and OIS. Going on to the two telephoto cameras over here, both of them at 10 megapixel, the first one at f4.9, and it does have your dual autofocus, OIS, and can go up to 10 times optical zoom. The second one is the f2.4 lens, and it can have the dual autofocus, OIS, and it can go up to 3 times of optical zoom. And lastly, we definitely need the ultra wide, and this one here does come with a 12 megapixel f2.2 sensor. It does have your dual autofocus and a super steady video mode. And over here, it can record up to 8K at 24 fps. So with the Realme GT2 Pro, it does have a triple camera setup, but it does have a dual 50 megapixel sensor, which of course is really interesting. The first one is the main lens, and it does go with a f1.8 sensor. It does have your dual autofocus and OIS. The second one is the ultra wide lens, and it's f2.2, and it can go up to 150 degrees field of view. The last one is the 3 megapixel microscope sensor. It does have your autofocus, and it can go up to a magnification of 40 times, which of course is really insane. And over here, you can record up to 8K at 24 fps. So now let's check out some shots on both these two phones and see which one does come out on top. So that is it between the Galaxy S22 Ultra and the Realme GT2 Pro. And of course, the ultimate question is, which one to get? Definitely if you want, the amazing specs and of course you want a nice build and design, but you definitely want to save some money, definitely the Realme GT2 Pro does fit that bill really, really nice. You get top of the line internal specs, you get a nice build design, nice paper design, and also a nice Gorilla Glass Victus build material as well. Of course, in terms of camera, pretty decent, I would say. Definitely the GT2 Pro does fit that bill really nice. But with the S22 Ultra, it's just the best of the best over here. You get the nice processor, you get a solid build and design over here, get a nice camera setup. Of course, the main thing is the S Pen, so a lot of Note users definitely want to get this phone. Of course, yes, it's just one of the best Android phones to get out of here, but definitely it's a little bit more pricey than many other phones, but you do get, longer software updates, which of course is really important for a lot of people. You also get a nice software experience like Samsung Pay and Samsung Pass and Samsung Dex mode as well. So yes, definitely you pay a little bit more, but you're going to get a little bit more with the Galaxy S device. So that is it. These are just my thoughts and my opinions. Do sound yourself in the comment section down below. If you guys enjoyed this video, do click the like and smash the subscribe button down below for more videos like this in the future. Do also follow me on my socials as well on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and here on YouTube at Dr. Hammerstein. So that is it. This is Dr. Hammerstein. Stay safe, take care, and wash those hands.